What's up, everybody? Matt Malatesta here with the Ray Meach and Bucketology. VYPE's man on the street as it relates to basketball. This is On My Whistle. Okay, lots of good basketball in Houston. We thought it was going to be kind of a down year, but really some solid play from teams and pockets of town that you're not really familiar with. People might not be really familiar with. Houston's #1 team in Class 4A is the Stafford Spartans. Coach Montano has done a tremendous job over there. They've been to state a couple times, regional finals. He's built a really talented program, and it's kind of wedged in between the Alvin ISD and Fort Bend ISD. It's way southwest. But what have you seen about the Spartans that you like?
There's a kid over there, Skylar Holt. Like him a lot. Big kid, super athletic, can score the ball. Trains with Mike LeBlanc, if you remember Mike LeBlanc. I mean, they're 25-0 right now. They're tough. They're playing hard, winning games.
But I mean, with them, again, they just sneak up on people because nobody really talks about Stafford.
Yeah.
But you know, over the past couple of years in 4A, they played Booker T. Washington, they played Yates, but they have made a couple of really nice runs in the playoffs. Watch out for them because they are the #1 team in Greater Houston. If we just take it as a macro, because they are undefeated and super highly ranked. 5A, I mean, look, Fort Bend Marshall, what they built over there also, and you know, Ronnie Courtney, one of the greatest coaches in the history of the city of Houston, winning at Willow Ridge, a couple state championships, coach at TSU.
What was that, Bush?
He was at Bush, won a state title at Bush. But they just, I think, is it his style of play? Is it the players? Does he develop? What makes him such a great coach?
I think he does a great job of getting his guys to buy in. You know, over years' time, you watch them their freshman year come in because he does allow guys to play early. Watch them over their freshman year, then as they develop, you know, throughout the years, by the time they're seniors, they're ready to win.
They've got a player. Oh my gosh, his name escapes me. Jaden Holt? No, he's at Pittsburgh. He's starring at Pittsburgh, and he's going to be like a first-round draft pick.
Oh, you're talking Lowe, Jaden Lowe.
Jalen Lowe.
Jalen Lowe.
Jalen Lowe.
Yeah, his little brother's the point man right now for Fort Bend Marshall, Ian.
Right.
Ian Lowe.
So he's the next one up, but he really developed. I got to see some of those games with Lowe, man, and he was special, and he could shoot from anywhere on the court, but just had tremendous IQ that probably comes from the AAU world as well as being coached with Ronnie Courtney. But do they have staying power? Do they have that, you know, it factor to reach the finals, go to the regional finals, maybe go to state? I think Kevin Sargent is one of the best players in Houston.
Yeah, definitely a hot name right now in the city. There's a clip floating around about Coach Sampson at U of H. You know, he dropped his name, and it's helped his recruitability a little bit. Going back to Lowe, Lowe's another one. I think he's right there. You know, he's fringe D1 guy because of his play this school year. You know, his name's come up a lot as well. If they can get out of the region, I think they have a chance.
So going to 6, moving to 6A, I like Jordan. They were in our tournament. Katie Jordan was in our tournament. They lost in the finals to the team, Veterans Memorial out of Corpus Christi, another super team, right?
True, fair.
But the coach over there does a good job. They got a deep bench and great guard play over there at Jordan. What do you think? Because, again, that's another, not a power program you'd think of, but, man, they just have developed that program into something special in Houston.
Let it be noted that Elijah Black went out with a rolled ankle and did not finish the game. So
let it be known.
Let it be known. Let it be known.
But he's legit.
He's legit.
But their guards are so good. They're tough guards back there.
So Elijah Black, Jaden Holt, I mean, they definitely run the show for Jordan.
Head coach over there, Charlie Jones.
Yep.
Kind of a younger guy, but man, he's just really a good coach. I think they've all bought in, and they have a good balance of they've got some bigs. They play kind of tough in the paint, and then great guard play. As we know, it's all about guard play. Another team could arguably be the best team in the city of Houston. It's got to be Shadow Creek.
Gotta be Shadow Creek.
Shadow Creek is
Yeah.
balling. President over
my
there.
favorite team right now. Shadow
Yeah.
Creek. They play hard. They score the ball. They D you up. But yeah.
What about where does Mikey
Collins?
where does he project?
I mean, he's another one. He's a guy that sits on a couple of D1 offers. You know, like we're waiting on him to get off the board to see what he decides to do. But I mean, he's right there. Maybe he's trying to wait it out and see how far they go and see if anything new pops up for him. But I mean, he's a sure end.
His sister is an amazing athlete, also.
Mackenzie.
Twin sister.
Yep, Mackenzie.
Who's committed. She was committed to A&M to play volleyball.
Yep.
And he's like, scrap that. I'm just going to run track at University of Texas. I'm like, what? This girl is so good at volleyball. But, you know, they kind of have a little bragging rights inside of their house, like who's the best athlete, and she thinks she is. But Mikey Collins is legit because of his physicality, I think. I mean, he's kind of, he looks like a U of H point guard to me, just because he's got that body and toughness.
Well, speaking of U of H, you know that's where his counterpart in the backcourt is going. Bryce Jackson is signed to go to U of H.
So U of H, we'll get to them in a minute because, man, they are killing the recruiting game also.
Oh, yeah.
Atascocita, David Martinez, probably the best coach in the city of Houston in my books. He can coach those guys hard, and they allow him to coach them really, really hard. And that's what makes Atascocita good year after year. I'm not sure, you know, players come and go. Carson Edwards, Fabian White, the list goes on, but he's the constant inside of that program. Do they have enough to make that run out of region?
It'll be tough. It'll be tough. You know, Adam Boyd is their motor right now. You can never count out Coach Martinez. Let's say that. They've made it to state with less. So
yeah,
you never know.
But he does coach him hard, man. I love that fact about him. He's kind of a no nonsense kind of guy. Another team, one state a couple years back, Fort Bend Travis, Coach Craig Bronson. He had the twins, of course. I mean, the Harrison twins were like Mount Rushmore, Houston area players, but they're coming out of Fort Bend, and that's usually a pretty tough district with, you know, them. Elkins has been good. Clements has been good over the past couple of years. Of course, you got Hightower. Have you seen much of Fort Bend Travis?
I have. So I actually got to watch them in the Bulldog Classic back in Magnolia. Yeah. I can't remember the young man's name. Cameron is his first name. Tough. It's about 6'4" guard, can score, big rebounds, defends. I mean, I think he's what makes them go.
Northside basketball gets slept on.
Absolutely.
Like, boom, slept all the time. Grand Oaks is killing right now.
They are.
And
they're rolling.
Okay, so we've got Jordan, kind of off the grid in basketball. Now they're at the forefront. This is another team. I think Grand Oaks is, now they've got to go Region 2, but I really think that they're a solid program. I like their style. Again, guard play. Just thoughts about how they've kind of built that thing.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but they've got a new head coach in play. Anthony Stevens is his name. Great young guy. Was at LaPorte last year. He's got those guys rolling. You know, Trey Lewis is his head man. He just got off the board as well, committed to a junior college.
Yeah, I saw that.
So, which is big for him. I mean, I think he's one of those guys. He'll take advantage of that situation and move on up the ranks.
So, okay, so we went around the city. Now, hot topics. Recruiting. We had John Lucas on a couple weeks ago, and he's like, man, the recruiting game has changed. It's NIL, it's JUCO.
Money.
Exactly. And,
money.
you know, you're wearing this sweatshirt given to you through NIL. Tell me about that.
Hey, Jace Jeffrey, shout out Jace Jeffries at Lamar. Special delivery came through probably about a week and a half ago. So shout out to Jace.
It's wild. He played at Concordia Lutheran, but it's just wild. The new world of college sports. Do you like it? Is it too convoluted, too confusing, too much, too fast? What is it?
I like it personally. I do believe that the athletes should be paid. I just think there's so much gray. You know, with money, I believe financial literacy should come as well. You know, if you're 18-year-old, if you're an 18-year-old and you're making six figures now, do you know what to do with that money? Do you know about taxes? You know, do you know what an IRA is?
It's a
Probably not.
it's a great point because financial literacy we're going to see a lot of that pop up, especially when NIL becomes
Yeah.
legal in high school in the state of Texas. The portal, do you feel for these guys now in the high school ranks because it's so much harder to get recruited?
I'm a believer that if you can play, you can play. You know, there's at the highest level, we've had players go from their freshman or their senior year in high school to starting at a Power Five school in college. So if you're good enough to play, you'll get on the court. Where things change are those in between guys. You know, if you're a low major guy and you barely got there, you know, now you've got to contemplate whether or not you should try junior college or another level of basketball.
With people going NIL, they're trying to position themselves. They're going to prep schools to get a bigger look. They're making basketball their life. Houston has some players that are highly recruited. On our cover, of course, you had Sheldon Henderson from Bel Air going to Duke. That's huge.
That's huge.
That is huge. How would you evaluate Henderson in his future?
I think he's huge. You know, you look at his body, you know, he's college ready right now. He does a lot of the intangibles, you know, the rebounding, the defending, the deflections, you know, all the things that will help a program like Duke win. And that, you know, promotes his marketability for the Blue Devils.
What I think is cool also, because we had John Lucas here, his son is the assistant coach at Duke.
Yeah.
Sheldon Henderson plays for, or he trains with John Lucas and plays for that team. It's all a relationship business. There's a lot of relationship. Sebastian at St. John's, thoughts?
One of my favorite players in the city. Another one, a lot of intangibles, you know, 6'7", 6'8", you know, can shoot it, good with the ball in transition, you know, he's excellent around the basket, can finish with either hand. You know, he's going to Auburn, so
huge pickup.
Is he going to Auburn?
Yeah, he is. He's going to Auburn. Yeah, that's a huge pickup for Auburn.
But I was thinking Nigel Wall's going to SMU. So.
Yeah, but I mean, you've got Sebastian, like, he's coming from St. John's. Coach Pearl coaches them hard over there, dude. That SEC basketball is different because it's killing right now.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not saying is he a guy that could end up in the portal. Is that a good fit for him, you think?
I think it's a really good fit for him. You know, they like to play fast. He's more physical than what people give him credit for. You know, whether or not he'll play a lot of minutes right away will, you know, kind of determine what happens next. But if he can stick around for year two, I think he's a big factor for Auburn.
Nigel Walls, you just mentioned him. St. Thomas.
St. Francis.
St. Francis. Just, he's long, tall, thin. He could put on a bunch of weight and muscle. Where do you think he's going to SMU? SMU's having a really good year. ACC now. How do you evaluate him? What do you think?
I like him a lot. Coach Lucas loves him. He calls him Baby KD.
He did, yeah.
He calls him Baby KD. I like him. Again, super versatile. You know, he can step out and bang the three. A little bit like Trent Burns that went to Mizzou last year. You know, he's 6'11", can shoot it, rebound it, shot blocker. You know, he's getting better. He's getting better.
So, anybody else that you love? Ian Inman from College Park. He's going to Colorado. He's a little bigger than I thought.
He's grown.
At our media day, he was a little bigger than I thought. Anybody else you see that's like, hey, this guy can play?
I mean, there's a couple of them, to be totally honest. The two brothers at Cinco Ranch, the Bynum Burn. I don't want to get their name wrong.
Right.
But there's two brothers at Cinco Ranch. They are tough. They're tough. I like Chandler Beasley at Willis. He's a good kid, can shoot the three. He's good in transition.
What's S.J. Young doing?
S.J. Young, I mean,
he's still there?
Yeah, he's still there. He's there. Who else do I like a lot?
Man, I love Isaiah Santos at Seven Lakes.
Seven Lakes.
I think that dude's going to be big time. I'm talking about big time. He's just a sophomore, and he plays He plays big. He's got a great basketball IQ. He had a lot of great opportunities because he played international basketball over the summer.
Yep.
I think Seven Lakes, he's going to be the face of Seven Lakes for the next couple of years.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Maybe even Houston.
There's another one, Tice Blodgett at Katy Taylor. I mean, he had a 40-point game this season.
Wow.
You know,
And that's
when you can put that kind of points on the board, you know, you're doing something right.
another guy, John Clark. He was on our cover last year from Klein Kane, and not a big power school also for basketball. He transfers to the Link Academy. I don't like that because we're just losing so much talent in Houston.
I mean,
He's committed to UT. He's huge.
He's huge.
I'm not sure he loves basketball. He's kind of a gamer.
Are we allowed to say that?
Of course.
No, we can speak freely.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in that case, there's a couple of guys that I don't like. No, I'm just kidding. I'm teasing. I've got too many relationships in the basketball world to do that. We'll have those conversations off camera. You know, I think he's fallen in love with playing out of position.
Okay.
And that was a detriment to his game. You know, one of his summer teammates the previous summer was Robert Miller. And Robert Miller had the skills to do what I think John wants to do. And, you know, one was a little more developed than the other.
And Robert Miller is at LSU. He's getting a little time. He's getting a little time off the bench some. But basketball is tough.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, you see it every day. You obviously have another gear because the people that can really play emerge to the Dukes. I mean, you don't see a lot of guys kind of coming in late and developing late. It seems like you have a brand early and then you build on that brand. Now, sometimes that brand will crash and it won't work out.
For sure.
But basketball is such a skill-oriented game that you have to have those skills developed early.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, a lot of it, basketball is a long game. You know, we talked about Bryce Jackson earlier. You know, Bryce Jackson broke his leg his freshman year, broke his leg again his sophomore year. So the kid missed 2 years of basketball, you know, and then he rehabbed for who knows how long. And at the end of the day, he gets to say, you know, he's a U of H Cougar. So it's possible, you know, for something to come in late for you if you're grinding it out. But I think most kids don't have the I almost said testicular fortitude.
Yeah.
I don't believe that most kids have the mental ability to grind it out, you know. Like kids are just mentally weak today, if you ask me.
And again, it's also a parent culture as well, because they're trying to bounce from place to place. And it is tough to get all the way through to get to that next level. So much hard work goes into it. You are the founder of Bucketology up in the north side of Houston, do development of kids. What do you think the biggest developmental miss is coming in right now? Meaning, like, what do kids going into high school need more of development in?
Our point of focus the past 6 months has been simple basketball. Kids can make a Euro step with the right. They can do a between the legs East Bay, you know, layup. They can do a 360 layup, but they can't take 2 dribbles with their left and just make a simple layup. So we've taken it all the way back to the fundamentals. It's not fun. It's not fun training. You know, it's not sexy on video, but in 9 months to a year, it'll all translate, and all the simplicity that we've implemented, it'll come into play.
On the real, health of Houston area basketball, what's the temperature if you could grade it?
I think we're okay. I think we've got a lot of young talent. You know, you look at the junior class led by Christian Gibson. You know, he played in our tournament. I think he averaged 32 points a game
From Maid Creek.
Maid Creek.
His dad's the head coach over there.
He is. Yep.
Dude, I was really impressed with
Kid's
him.
good.
He's a lefty.
Yep.
He can shoot. He can get to the basket. He's a big old dude. Yeah. And man, I was really impressed. I'm glad you brought him up. What other future stars do you see developing soon?
There's a junior at the Woodlands. He's a lot better than people give him credit for. Christian Garcia is his name. There's another one, Ben Alexander. He's probably my favorite player over there right now. There's a Jordan Godfrey, I'm sorry, at Episcopal.
Yeah.
Young guard, you know, really crafty with the ball. Again, can paint touches are important. He can get there. Who else?
There's another big over at Saint. Hang on, it'll come to me in a second. Where are you at all the time? St. John's. He plays football too.
He tore his ACL.
He did?
Yep. He tore his ACL. He had surgery last week.
Okay, we'll mention that. All right, 3, 2. Another guy I like is the big man, plays football also over at St. John's School. What are your thoughts?
Malachi.
Yes.
Just suffered minor setback for a major comeback. Tore his ACL. I believe he had surgery about a week ago. So, wishing him, speedy recovery.
For sure. Thoughts on the private school ranks? What's better? Is private school or public school going right now?
I mean, that private prep, that's kind
Yeah.
of the direction that things are going right now. It's an in-between, to be totally honest. You look back 15, 20 years ago, and the best basketball was in the urban areas. Fast forward, all of those people have worked really, really hard to get out of those situations, and so now the best basketball is in the private school and in the burbs. So, I mean, it's a coin toss.
Private school in the city of Houston. Second Baptist. How about Second Baptist put a thumping on TWCA? Second Baptist has some nice pieces. Rafer Alston's son, really, really good, great IQ. Talk about some of the private school teams you like. TWCA, still a really good team.
Yeah, Howie King, Montana commit, Nick Brashear over there. So senior-led team.
Yeah.
Senior-led team.
They do have a young guard over there that can play.
Oh, yeah. Trey Pinkert. Trey Pinkert is his name.
That guy's
transferred in this year.
That guy's legit.
Tough as nails.
Yes.
Tough as nails.
But yeah, Second Baptist, TWCA, like those two. Of course, you've got like the St. Francis of the world. St. John's is going to be solid as well. Just Houston as a whole, I think they got a chance to make some noise in the public and the private school ranks. Texas-wise, who dominates? Is it still Dallas?
Houston, come on. Houston. we average 23 Division I players a year. Countless collegiate players. So I'm always going to ride with the home team. Dallas is tough. No disrespect to Dallas, but I'm always going to ride with the home team.
Which leads us to the University of Houston Cougars. I'm telling you what, man, they are fun to watch. They are a lunch pail type of team and tough. Of course, that comes from coach. Are you surprised? I grew up in the Phi Slama Jamma years, and man, it was just a different game, but it was so exciting to watch. This is a different type of team, and now they're a national brand again. How hard was that for Sampson to build a national brand in Houston again?
I mean, you look at the Jordan brand, you look at the conference change, you look at the facilities that are new. I mean, it's a completely new face for U of H.
What does he do? What's his intangible? What does he do well?
Have you been to one of his practices?
No, but I've been on the sidelines of one of his games.
That's how his practices are. I mean, those guys, literally, we use the term all the time, run through a wall. Those kids will literally run through a wall. And what they've been able to do with their body transformations, from freshman year to senior year, incredible.
It is incredible. And I just got my fingers crossed for them. I'm dying for them to win it, the whole thing.
It's coming.
So, because we had Quentin Grimes, of course, local product from College Park.
Terrence Arsenault.
Yeah. And people are staying home, but then they're dipping in and getting some of these national top 5 recruits.
Yeah.
So good for them. Who do you like in college right now from the city of Houston that's kind of representing H-Town?
Well, for sure, Jalen Lowe at Pitt. I like LJ at U of H.
LJ Cryer, cover boy.
2 easy picks.
Yep. What about the old big man from Morton Ranch back in the day that played?
Syracuse.
He's playing really well.
He is, yeah. Eddie Lampkin.
Eddie Lampkin. He's bounced around so much, and every time he's bounced, he's getting paid.
Hey, that's the name of the game.
TCU to Colorado to Syracuse, just weird, but he's a kind of a fan. He was a fan favorite at Colorado. Everybody loved that guy in the tournament, and then he Get re-ups with Syracuse.
Hey, I mean, rule number 1 is get the money. Rule number 2 is don't forget the money. So, I mean,
All right. Hey, Matt Malatesta, Ray Meach. We're going to talk basketball all year long. Follow these teams all the way to state. Like and subscribe to the On My Whistle podcast. Just hit the button. And follow all of our other content social media wise. See y'all.